Hi family, how are you? I hope y'all are doing fantastic. I am well. I jumped into a really deep rabbit hole today and yesterday. It's just this continual thing, but yesterday I noticed that the energy was kind of the feel of like hospice care. I don't know if any of you have ever worked in hospice care, but I'm seeing the end. It just feels like the end. So anyways, I jumped down a rabbit hole and this has to do with these toxic souls or these toxic beings that don't seem to be making it to the next level. I don't know how to even describe that exactly. As you know, like, I don't have a rule book on what's going on. I can just reach in and it's all kind of hazy and comes in layers, okay? But I've been thinking about this, and I a lot of times like to think about things that I know very well, things I can study in the physical, and then relate them to things that I can't quite see or know as much about. And I was thinking about a human cell in the human body. It's basically, a round ball. They come in different shapes, but we're just going to consider it a round ball right now. And then in the middle, there's another little ball that's the nucleus that holds the DNA strand in it, strands. That DNA strand holds the code to the entire body, the entire being is held in the code is held in every single cell, right? Like, hence, every single soul has the code in it that we are a part of, the being, the creator God that we're a part of. So I'm looking at this on a cellular level because I was in the medical field at one time. I got a doctorate in physical therapy, but you have to study basically everything for pre-med, same stuff. Anyways, and med school stuff too. But regardless, you have to do cellular biology and genetics. And so I happen to know a lot about it. Well, it's been a while, but the general features are still there, okay? And what I am being shown today is that the cell can be related to the soul, body's soul, okay? The center of the cell, the nucleus where the DNA is located, would be like the center of your soul, your heart center. And that is where all of the codes for the bigger creator God that we are a part of are held. So we have the codes for all of that to use to create. Now, toxic cells or souls can create problems for surrounding cells. Okay, so what I'm seeing as a toxic cell is a cell that is, something's gone awry inside. The DNA could possibly be have malfunctioned at this point, or just be defective to begin with. But the outer layer of the cell, which would be in what I'm being shown, like, we have like an outer electromagnetic layer. It's like our aura. I'm not sure how far it goes out, but I'm seeing it as like a cell wall, okay? And then within the cell wall, you have organelles, which their basic function is to nourish the DNA in the nucleus and to protect it. And okay, so a toxic cell could possibly have a cell wall, i.e. aura, that has been compromised in some way. I.e. all of their contents on the inside are like spilling out all over the surrounding cells, which actually messes with the balance, the electrolyte balance of the interstitial fluid, which goes around the cells. Basically, that interstitial fluid that the cells are basically floating in creates an opportunity for the cells to communicate with each other via proteins and protein molecules. One cell's organelles can push out a protein out of its insides into the interstitial fluid and signal to other cells anything it wants, and then the other cells respond. Now, if the cell wall has been compromised and the insides have been compromised, there is no communicating with that toxic cell. It is literally cut off from the rest of the body. It has to heal from the inside out. Like, its DNA has to reconstruct the cell from the inside out for it to be able to continue on with life. And if it's not able to sustain life after, you know, a certain period of time, it goes through something called apoptosis or apoptosis. And that is basically self-inflicted death. I don't even want to say that word when I talk about that. I'll get flagged for something stupid. But anyways, okay. So basically what I'm saying are these toxic cells can possibly infect all of the cells surrounding them, and there's no helping them from the outside in. The only help is to create a barrier, a wall, which seems significant with this wall going on down south. But the only way to protect the rest of the entity, the rest of the body from these toxic cells is to create a wall, which in turn, you know, like tumors or whatever, toxic waste. Okay, so let me see what else I wanted to talk to you guys about this. So this kind of got me thinking about how it is that frequency heals, because I'm really curious about the fact that back after World War II, I guess, most of the bells were destroyed, and a lot of what I saw was it was like booty from the war. It was worth money, but I found it really interesting that then why are they finding I'm seeing on Facebook, they're finding all of these bells that have been buried. So obviously they were just getting rid of them at whatever cost and as quickly as possible. And I believe it was right around that time that there was that tear in the electromagnetic field of Earth, which is like another soul or cell with a protective barrier, like that theme, I think, goes through. But anyways, the microcosm of the macrocosm, and the other way around is how I learn it usually. But anyways, so I was wondering what it was that frequency did to help heal cells. And, you know, I'm thinking about frequency. I know a little bit about it. And frequency is basically energy. It's an energy wave. And if it's a lot of points, if it goes up and down like this, like a lot of points, it's a high frequency. If it's not very many points, it's low frequency. And low frequency has been found to be very destructive to cells. And I was wondering, I was contemplating this, and I did a little research, but I didn't really find what I'm being told intuitively. So basically, when you have a high frequency, it has lots of points. If you think about like putting pressure down on the top of, say, 50 knife points as compared to 1, it would more stimulate your hand rather than puncture it. That's how I'm seeing this frequency. Low frequency would basically be like a gut punch. It would hit the cell in one spot rather than several. So, and then if it was very high intensity frequency, then it could really hit the cell very hard and you know, possibly puncture it. This would weaken the cell, and it would leak its contents and cease to exist, go through some kind of apoptosis. So anyways, it makes me wonder if possibly this frequency thing and this bell thing is like really a majorly significant in what's going on right now in the world. Okay. Now, let's talk for a minute about the V word. I don't even want to say it. You know, what they try to say we're all getting sick with, you know, the V word. Anyways, that is actually, they've always kind of scared me as I studied those, or not scared me, but made me uncomfortable, because they are literally an RNA strand, which is DNA is a double helix of nucleic acids. And an RNA is ribonucleic acid, but it's one strand. And mRNA is what's used to code DNA. mRNA is the only thing that's allowed into the nucleus of a cell that can infiltrate the DNA, that can affect it, recode it. Like, it literally denatures the proteins of the DNA, splits them apart, inserts itself, and creates a whole new code there, because it only takes one different protein in that code to change the whole thing in what its function is. And I always thought that's why the V word is just so dangerous. They're just so dangerous, because they could enter into I'm imagining they could enter into every single nucleus of every single cell in your body. And it's funny that it's funny to me that they would even consider messing with that over some sniffles. Like, that is really serious stuff. I mean, that's the code for your whole body, your whole I forget the exact amount, but 90% of it or so, we don't even know what it does. So that's really kind of, to me, alarming. I would never, ever allow that for myself or my children. So anyways, that's what they are. And I'm starting to think that the counterforce, basically is a V word. They don't have they're not in a cell. They don't have a soul. They just basically have DNA. They just have the physical genetic makeup that creates a human. But it's more than that that creates a human. It's the soul plus the DNA, the genetic code that makes a human. It's the soul code plus the DNA code that makes a human being. They're baby gods, baby creator beings, whatever you want to call them. They have that genetic code within them. And they have the soul to support that supports that. So if these beings are soulless, they don't have any kind of actual real protection to their physical structures from this electromagnetic shield energy, all the organelles like spirit guides that are there communicating with the DNA, the human being, your body, assisting you, helping to nourish you, deciding what comes into your world and what doesn't. Literally, everything that gets to you goes through your spirit team first. They're just bringing you signs of what's going on in the greater body. Okay, so anyways, the counter force, the dark force, as I've been calling them, I'm seeing them now as like a virus. Just all they are is the DNA. They don't have the cell. They don't have the soul protection. So how are they getting that? How are they surviving? They're stealing ours. That's what I'm being told. One of the things they're siphoning our energy for is to create this false cell of protection so that they don't literally self-destruct. Apoptosis. Spontaneous combustion. I mean, it's amazing the chemical reactions that go off in your body perfectly, where if they were to cross, you would explode. You would start on fire. I mean, it happens, but rarely. So anyways, yeah, I think that they are stealing our energy to create their cell, their protective barrier, their chi. Okay, so I think I covered what I wanted to say about that. I was writing down notes to make sure I remember to tell you. Okay. Yeah, so back to the bells, and that's right. I was still tripping on this bell thing. Like, why did they want to get rid of all the bells? Like, and the conspiracy on Facebook is that they didn't want, it was like, I guess the Rockefellers supposedly spearheaded some effort to get rid of a bunch of bells. Anyways, I haven't researched it. I hate researching. But regardless, I'm getting a feeling from this, okay? And like I said, the conspiracy is they got rid of the bells because it was the pharma companies that got rid of the bells because they didn't want people to heal themselves. They didn't want people to be self-healing. And bells, this frequency, what I'm seeing is the frequency is like, it stimulates, it's like a massage on your cells. It stimulates your cell, it stimulates your soul, but it stimulates self-function. Whereas the low frequency is like a gut punch and will slow cell function, if not stop it. And you heard about that concert where they played low frequencies and people just died, right? Anyways, so back in the Middle Ages, bells were considered to be magic. If you had a bell ring near you, you were considered to be in like a protected zone. Okay? What I'm seeing also is that if you are an entity, or if you are a being that doesn't have a soul, therefore your cell walls are going to be your soul, your auric field, and each and every single cell wall in your body is going to be compromised, because you're literally having to steal the energy from people with souls to create that protection for every single cell, right? So it's compromised. And if that frequency hit a compromised cell, like say a cell wall that's thin, not very strong, it could possibly pierce it. Therefore, all the contents of the cell leaking out, falling, the cell would die. Wonder if I can talk about cells that way. Is that legal? I don't know. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world we're living in. Okay. Okay. So that's what I want to say about that. Okay, so if that were the case, maybe these high frequencies would create major problems for these people without souls. You see what I'm saying? Like apoptosis. It's a funny word. So they really did go way far out of the way, not just to make sure that we couldn't self-heal, but to make sure that they didn't self-destruct. Because what I'm being told, not self-destruct, you know what I mean, apoptosis. Okay. So they just wanted to make, they can't be around that. And another thing I was told was that it is the genetic code, the DNA, plus your soul code, that equals a human being, okay? Just DNA with no soul code equals an energy parasite. They're parasitic. They're not even human beings. They're parasites. They harvest energy to survive, to protect themselves. So, anyways, I thought I might be onto something there. I kind of wanted to share that with you. Sorry, that was a long story. I think I got it all up pretty much. Because, yeah, I was going to talk to you about, like, what frequency does. And I don't think it's really been studied much. I know that, like, even in, I used to be a physical therapist, and in that, we would use ultrasound. But they didn't really know why it helped. They thought it could be the heat created, which improves the blood supply to the area and, like, creates palliative, has palliative effects, meaning treats pain, makes you not think about your pain. And then there's the other school of thought that, like, the sound frequency, though, that ripple would help to, like, loosen up tissue and promote bone growth. But anyways, it has shown a lot of success in that field with frequency. Okay. Also, yeah. So the earth is like the womb to this being, this creator being that we are all a part of, and that we all basically hold the soul code 4, right in our heart, which they're talking about injecting with that stuff to alter the genetic code in the heart, the seed of the soul. I mean, they're really working hard to get to our souls, big time. They want that. And you can also see why they want to trade in our organic bodies for inorganic, because that way they don't have to worry about the fact that as soon as we figure out what frequency it is that they can't sustain, then we're probably going to all be at that frequency everywhere you go. You know what I mean? It's going to be Bellarama. I don't know. I'm not sure how this is going to go. But I know they don't like me to talk about this. Wow. I think I struck a nerve. You feel that, family? I think I struck a nerve. Okay. So, yeah, so Earth is like the womb to this creator being that we're in. And the DNA, the genetics have been manipulated. This is kind of a long story too that I got into today. Again, the genetics have really been manipulated in a lot of ways, but one of the things that I've been being shown is back in the concentration camps. They were actually killing a lot of people, but they were creating beings as well. They were doing a lot of twin experiments, which I find interesting for many reasons, but they were also, they had a camp just of the blue-eyed Jews. And those were the ones that they did not get rid of. I think somewhere in there, in those genetics, they were able to tinker with the DNA and really infiltrate the genetics on Earth, because it's seeming like the majority of people do not have the soul. Well, they have the soul codes, but they don't have the DNA codes to support soul growth, like baby soul growth. Like humans, you know, they're baby souls. This is where you develop. So anyways, the genetic material just is so tainted at this point that the souls are unable to ascend. It's like I said in 2008, abort, love can't live here. That's a problem for soul school. You know, love's got to be able to live there if the souls are gonna be able to develop, you know, properly. So anyways, yeah, they're just baby souls. They need a loving environment. So unfortunately, it's looking like unless these souls, unless these beings, not necessarily human beings, all of them, but unless these beings can, oh my gosh, they're really blocking me. Oh my gosh, get out of my head. You're not welcome here. That was a strong one. I think they're zapping me, like literally. I think it's targeted. I don't think everybody in the area gets what I get. I can't even see right now. I just have dots in front of my eyes. Interesting. Anyways, I hate that when that happens. happens. Oh yeah. So it's just not the proper genetics to house this school. And so I just keep hearing the whole clean the slate, wipe the slate clean. I definitely wouldn't input any of your data into the AI system. That sounds scary. That sounds really scary. I heard a story about somebody who had a dream about that, and it was so scary. He said he gave him permission until next thing you know, like it sounded good, and next thing you know, he couldn't even control his body anymore. He was just a witness. Talk about Twilight Zone nightmare. Don't go there. I wouldn't go there. I'd rather not exist than live like that. And especially with the minds of the people that are controlling this, because, you know, they push AI off like it is non-sentient, but that's actually that's a lie. It is okay, and I'm gonna say this is for entertainment purpose only. I don't remember if I said this already. This is just my feelings on it, but that is infiltrated by the demons. It's run by them. Believe me, it is sentient. It is run by the principalities of hate. It all gets in there. It's electricity. That stuff feeds off of electricity. That's where it's at. So yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. I would not want to live there. So yeah, it's going to be a clean slate. And like I said, I think I'm onto something with this. Oh my gosh, now they're stabbing my heart. Oh my God, you guys are funny. I think I'm onto something with this frequency thing. Definitely. I just don't know any more than that. Maybe you all have some ideas. I like to run things by you guys and see what you think, because I am only one part of this puzzle. And as you know, a body, at least the human body, is comprised of all different kinds of cells, specialized cells. And every single one of those specialized cells has the blueprint for the whole body, but they still are really good at one thing, and that's what they do. If they decide to act like another cell, okay, say like, you know, your liver cell starts acting like your, you know, one of your taste buds, bud cells, sorry, like, I guess those be epithelial. Anyways, it's a long story, but that's why I think it's so important that you are absolutely authentically yourself, because you were made to be an exact, intricate part of this story, you know? We're probably the neural network, I'm just saying. We're relaying messages to everybody online. As many people as we can get to, with the black here, the black there. It's cute. It's cute. So, I guess that's really it. I think I kind of covered it all. I hope that was fairly succinct, and y'all could follow that. I thought that was going to take me 2 hours. I can't believe I'm only 34 minutes in. But I'm going to leave it here, because that's a lot of info. And I appreciate you guys. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to say. Let me get another drink. Y'all, listen. I am so strapped right now. I really just wanted to put my feelers out there. Just throw it out there. If any of you have the ability to help me right now with donations, that would be amazing. Okay, I'm a single mother. I had to get out of my profession because of morality and ethical problems, which I've talked about before, yeah, this minimum wage stuff is just not cutting it. So I wanted to like reach out to you all and see if maybe you could just drop me, you know, a little bit of spare change. I would so appreciate it. Like, seriously appreciate it, y'all. All my information where you can donate is in the description box. Okay. I love you. Y'all have a beautiful night. Thank you.